Good morning, welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson we'll discuss the second unit of advanced grammar in use, and it will be about using present continuous and present simple. Actually, we just continue discussing this topic. Firstly, the reminder A1, A5 we have already discussed in the previous lesson. If you didn't watch it, I think I can pin the link maybe in the comments or somewhere here. Just follow this link. Next, we often use the present simple and present continuous when telling stories and jokes in informal spoken English to create the impression that events are happening now. This can make them more direct, both variants, both options, and exciting and hold people's attention. For example, she goes up to this man and looks straight into his eyes. He is not wearing his glasses and he doesn't recognize her. So we use present simple and present continuous to make this maybe not a joke, but this story more vivid. Then this man's playing golf when a kangaroo bounces up to him, grabs his club and hits his ball about half a mile. One more time, this actually isn't happening right now, but we use present simple and present continuous because we want to hold people's attention and so on. The main events are usually described in sequence using the present simple, and longer background events are described using the present continuous. In narratives and anecdotes, the present simple can be used to highlight an event. Often it is used after past tenses and with a phrase such as suddenly or all of a sudden. So, last night I am waiting for the bus when this man walks up to me and says ta ta ta. This is not happening now, but telling the story, even in Russian, we use present tenses to describe this event. I was in the park reading a newspaper. Here we can see that it was in the past. When, all of a sudden, this dog jumps at me. Pay attention to this situation. This dog doesn't jump at me every single day. Moreover, I don't read a newspaper every single day. But I use present simple after all of a sudden because here I want to make the story more vibrant, like this is happening now. I want to help my listeners understand exactly what I'm talking about. We also use the present simple and present continuous in live commentaries, for example, on sports events when the report takes place at the same time as the action. I think you could hear that if you watched any of sports events and if you listened to the comments, they always use the present simple for this usage. Keane services to the left-hand court and Adams makes a wonderful return. She's playing magnificent tennis in this match. This maybe this is happening right now. Maybe they just comment something on the TV or something like that, but they use present simple because and present continuous, of course, because they describe this sports event. I think it's quite clear, and now we can proceed to doing these exercises. First of all, complete the sentences using the verbs in brackets. Use the present simple or present continuous. Let me remind you that firstly I show you the exercise, I give you some time to do it by yourself, only by yourself, without me, and then we'll discuss it together. Rodriguez passes to De Mello, who shoots just over the bar. The home team are attacking much more in this half. I suppose that here we are discussing the baseball game. Maybe no, but this is exactly about the game. Sports event, so we use present simple or present continuous. Here, present simple and present simple, but this team is attacking much more because this is like in progress and it became more and more powerful maybe, but here it is supposed to be are attacking is supposed to be used. Well, a man arrives home late one night after the office Christmas party. His wife is waiting for him and she says to him, ta ta ta. Here it's a story, and I want my listeners to pay attention to what I'm saying. I want them to imagine what is going on now, so I use present simple and present continuous. He arrives, this is just like a fact, but his wife is waiting for him, progress, long action, and she says, short action. I went to a concert yesterday in the town hall. In the middle of it, while the orchestra is playing, this man suddenly stands on his seat and starts to conduct them. One more time, this is a story. Here we can see past simple, but then we use present simple and present continuous because we wanted to make this story vivid. Vivid, interesting word. So this orchestra is playing while, after this word we use continuous very often. Suddenly supposes that we will use simple, past simple or present simple. Here present simple. After that, and here one more time, suddenly ta 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 and ta ta ta. These verbs should be the same. I mean the same form, like present simple or present continuous, both of them. Here, present simple. Good. We can use the present simple in phrases such as it says, hear, I gather, I see, I understand, and they say, someone says, someone tells me, to introduce news that we have heard, read, seen. For example, on television. Or the things, the news we have been told. We can also use past tenses. For example, Kevin said, I heard. I think it will be clearer with the examples. I gather you worried about Pedro. Sophia tells me you're thinking of emigrating. Professor Hendricks is at the conference and I hear she is an excellent speaker. So, with these phrases, we use present simple or present simple. Present simple or present simple, yeah. This is the context for today. To introduce the news, for example, you're worried about Pedro and this is the news. And I use I gather in present simple. The same situation is here. You're thinking of, this is the news I have just heard, for example, and now Sophia tells me. Professor Hendricks, the same situation. I hear she is an excellent speaker. I have been told that she is an excellent speaker. So, present simple here. Next, the present simple is often used in news headlines to talk about events that have recently happened. Second, quake hits Japan. Fire breaks out in hotel room. Scientists find ice on the moon. Foreign minister resigns. Present simple. Actually, this is done just for exemplifying, not exemplifying, simplifying. Simplifying that I don't think that on the headline we can write something like they have been doing something for a long time. No. In the headlines, the phrases are supposed to be very short and clear. So present simple is the perfect choice here. We can use the present simple to refer to the contents of books, films, newspapers. Thompson gives a list of the largest European companies in chapter 6. He does that. We are talking about the book, so we use the present simple. At the beginning of the book, 3 men find $4 million in a crashed plane. Interesting. Well, this is about a book. Yeah. In the film, Lonnie Baransky takes the role of a private detective. Takes the role. This is about film. a film. So just present simple, nothing difficult. The exercise completes what each person says about the news they have read or heard using the present tense phrases in C. Present tense phrases in C, they mean it says, hear, I gather, I see, I understand, they say, someone says, someone tells me. I think we can start now. Government gives a health service billions. I see the government's giving the health service a lot more money. Pay attention that here we can see only possible answers, so these sentences are not the only option. Next, Vegicorp to sack 1,000 workers. I gave them. Vegicorp are going to sack 1,000 workers. I hear, I see, they say, whatever. A team of researchers claims to have identified a gene which causes some people to sleep more than others. It's about me. They say they've identified a gene which causes some people to overeat. Overeat? Why? No, not overeat. I think this is a mistake because sleep more than others causes some people to sleep more than others. Whatever. Continue. We can use the present continuous with adverbs such as always, constantly, continually, or forever to emphasize that something is done so often that it is characteristic of a person, group, or thing. We often use this pattern to indicate disapproval. More often when we are irritated about something, by something, and we want to emphasize that we do hate this action. I think I'll say here, after all, you're constantly changing your mind. And this is so annoying. You are constantly changing. You're always changing. Why can't you just keep one point on your head, on your mind, and just follow it? You're constantly changing your mind. So this is very emotionally. Jacob is a really kind person. He's always offering to help me with my work. This is a characteristic of Jacob. Jacob, Bella, Edward. Here we can't see any negative emotions, but we do see the characteristic of a person. This is like him. This is just about this person. The past continuous is used in a similar way with these adverbs. For example, was Olivia always asking you for money too? Is it a characteristic of Olivia to ask, and so on. We can use the present continuous to describe something we regularly do at a certain time. At 8 o'clock, I am usually driving to work, so phone me on my mobile. At 8 o'clock every single day. I hope you remember that I have already told you plenty of times that continuous is used like that. We can see a point at the time. This point can be now, or in the past, or in the future, and depending on this position, we will choose present continuous, past continuous, or future continuous. So here, this point of the time, at the time, is at 8 o'clock every single day. At 8 o'clock, so we can use present continuous. Also, this is a characteristic of me, that at 8 o'clock every single day, I'm usually driving, without every single day. At 8 o'clock, I'm usually driving to work. 7 o'clock is a bit early. We're generally eating then. 7 o'clock, a point at the time, and we are eating. Next. Expand one of the sets of notes below to complete each dialogue. I can't read this. You're always complaining about my handwriting. Irritation. Can I borrow 10 euros? You're forever asking me for money, and this irritates me so much. That was a dangerous thing to do. You're constantly criticizing my driving. This is a characteristic of you. Stop doing this. I think I'll stay here after all. You're continually changing your mind, like as in the example previously. You are always changing your mind. You are continually changing your mind. And this is something really irritating. I had a bad day at the office again. You're forever moaning about your work. And this irritates me one more time. Or this is a characteristic of you. You do this every single day. Every single time I see you, I am listening to your complaining, to your moaning about your work. So we use present continuous here. Next, complete each pair of sentences using the same verb in negative form if necessary. Use the present continuous or the present simple. Use this symbol to add any words outside the gap. By the way, if you know what is it, let me know in the comments, because I don't know what is it even in Russian, so I will name it just this symbol. Shall we phone at 6? No, we usually. Dinner at that time. No, we are usually eating, or we are usually having dinner at that time. This is a characteristic of us. Then, I don't eat lamb, thanks, I'm a vegetarian. A fact about me, I don't eat meat, so that's it. We use present simple here. Only present simple. Gelman, Henry the Fifth in the latest production at the Royal Theatre. Gelman plays or is playing Henry V in the latest production at the Royal Theatre. We can use both present simple and present continuous because if this is a regular event and he plays it every single day, so we use present simple. But if it has begun previously, recently, it is happening now, and it will continue for some time in the future, but not always, we can use present continuous here. They constantly loud music until the early hours of the morning. Irritation. I think, because loud music can be irritating, annoying, disturbing, and so on. So they are constantly playing loud music until the early hours of the morning. But if you look at the answers, we can see that constantly play is also possible. Maybe if this factor doesn't irritate us, why not? Then I normally take the children to school at 8:30. Perhaps we could meet at 9 o'clock. It would suggest, however, that this is the time they leave home. Present continuous suggests that they are on the way to school at 8:30. Okay. It would suggest this is time they leave home. Present continuous, they are on the way to school. Well, I am normally taking the children to school. Means that I am driving right now, but present simple means that they just leave home at 8:30. Interesting. In this recent book, Wall takes a controversial view of Britain's role in the war. We are discussing a book and we use present continuous. The present continuous. That's it. By the way, in the previous lesson, I asked you if you want me to give these lessons in English or in Russian, and of course there were both opinions. Someone wants English, someone wants Russian. Actually, it was obvious that it was supposed to be like that. So I've made a decision that some of the lessons will be in English because there are a lot of simple, very simple topics, very simple units, and I can't see any sense to discuss them in Russian because I'm so sorry, but at advanced level, suppose that we will discuss that in English, and I don't know why should I do that in Russian, but some of the topics are difficult, are hard to explain and hard to understand only in English. I can understand it, so we will do that in both languages, of course, in Russian and in English. I will translate something for you. We'll see. But please remember that this book is not about beginners. It's not for beginners. Even it is not for pre-intermediate level students. This is for advanced level, and if you don't understand anything, please start from the first or the second part of this book. So now, let me invite you to my individual English lessons. If you want to speak English fluently, to speak English at all your lessons and so on, if you want to improve your vocabulary, your grammatical skills, so just write me and we'll work on this together. Now I can let you go. Goodbye. See you next time.